The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble! You're watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First, he is our riddle. Inside of an enigma trapped in Chinese finger cuffs, you don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
Yeah, what's up?
What's up, indeed? Next, he's our intrepid senior reporter. He's next in line for the cowl. He is our resident Dark Knight detective. It's Oz.
Beating my nuts. Sorry.
Oh, we know.
Hi.
Next, he's the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler, and resident strongman, Moses Magnum.
What's up?
What's up? Next, my name is Lawrence Young. They call me Mir Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. We got a great show for you today because we get to talk to you all about Transformers 1, the new Transformers animated movie coming to theaters this weekend. So we'll be talking about that. We will be bringing you a review of Duck and Cover, a comic book recently released into print from Dark Horse that is brought to you by the team that gave you or gave us all American Vampire. So we'll talk about that. And of course, whatever else it is that you all want to talk about. And we'll tell you how it is you can get down with Fantastic Forum in just a moment. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, the show would not exist. So thank you, Scott Rubin. Hope all is well with you, good sir. And with that said, let's have the intern fill you all in.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
Indeed. It's good stuff. So yeah, do what they say. Go to fantasticforum.live if you want to jump in and be the fifth member of Fantastic Forum. Or if you are a little shy and you just want to go ahead and hit us with the chat, you can go ahead and jump into the YouTube chat or into the Twitch chat. We'll take your comments out of chat and bring them into the show as well. So, but let us know what it is that you're thinking, what it is you're feeling, whether it's about what we're talking about or if it's something slightly different. We'll get to it, but feel free. Gentlemen, how's everybody feeling?
Tired.
You guys good? Tired? Yeah. How about
I'm so
Jay?
tired.
How you feeling?
I'm so tired from when we went out on Saturday.
Right. It was a triumphant outing going to go see Transformers 1, which we'll definitely talk more about that outing as well as the movie, of course. Unfortunately, Oz, because Oz lives. Wait, what? What?
I mean, you have to say the chat before you just respond to it.
I'm sorry.
Unless you were knowing me, like I could take myself out. It's cool.
No, I'm sorry. Tiger Claw in chat says, is Transformers 1 better than the original animated movie? No. No, it is not.
Joe, I mean, we're literally going to do an entire review of Transformers 1. We can hold on to that.
We all became men after watching that. Like we understood loss.
True.
I couldn't hold on to it.
No, I was like, what? What did I do? Like I hadn't seen the comment, but okay.
What you were saying, I did see it.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good, awesome. But unfortunately, you didn't get to see it with us because you're in the Midwest. But I'm happy to hear that because that'll be make for a better review. So that's awesome. That's awesome
Man,
indeed.
I could have photoshopped them into the picture we took.
There it is. You could have just put Oz's face on Bumblebee. Like, would have made sense.
Yeah, he did have a lot of the jokes.
Badass beat.
Right.
Mhm. Badass Tron.
Instead of
Bassatron, yeah. There you go.
instead of he, it'll be the. So, but yeah, good, awesome. And Jay, Oz, how are you all feeling? You all okay?
Okay.
Feel a little empty. Need more nuts in me.
Well, listen, hope you get what you need, Oz. I
It's
hope you
all
get-
like I can see it on my screen. I like this. Whatever.
yeah.
It'll be worse next
What-
week. This desk is getting dismantled tomorrow.
Okay.
So
What do you have, like a timeline?
we're hoping to close by next Thursday.
Oh man.
So
So
that's why
you all are
Well,
haven't even closed yet.
It's getting close, but I'm working out of town, so I have like 1 day off a week.
Oh, so
Make
you
the
have
move
to do it
take
when you can
longer,
do it.
and
Okay,
I
I
gotta
got
get internet set up there. And it's
it.
gonna be like
Oh.
this for a while. If not here, I mean the walls over there will be like this too, because I got
Right. I understand. So no harm, no foul.
my background's gonna look like Jay's. It's gonna be like we're right next to each other.
Right. There it is. So cool, man. Cool. So yeah, we took the comment out of chat and brought it into the show because Tiger Claw was asking questions. Good to see you, Tiger Claw. Look, Tiger Claw knew exactly how to derail the show right from the jump. I'm not mad. Man, look, should we just get into it then?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Comic book theater.
Shout out to Tiger Claw for comic book theater. I'm surprised Tiger Claw hasn't seen Transformers 1 yet. I feel like,
I mean, it was just
maybe
that one showing, though, right?
it was one showing, but Tiger Claw feels like the kind of guy that would be at the one showing. So, Tiger Claw's in chat and he says, "You guys hold the original in such high regard. I hope this new one becomes the one that dethrones it." Oh,
I don't
wow,
think
Tiger.
it's not a better movie, but I'll give them that a lot of the people that are gonna go see this new one have not seen the original.
Right.
I mean, but you can
100%.
attest to all the young customers he gets who prefer the Bayformer Badassatron as opposed to the original.
I will say
Yeah.
one of the funniest things is Lawrence was showing me of these young cats who are going back and watching the original movie and they're just like amazed at like how great the animation is and the story and the music, and it's like really funny watching them because you can tell they have like zero expectations. And they're like, "Oh my god, the animation!" Like, and it's like, I don't think anyone's gonna say that with this one.
No. Even though the animation is good,
It's fine, but it's not like Transformers the movie. Like,
well,
I do like the story they went with because it works as a prequel to the original.
it can. I mean, it's one of those things.
Gladiator pits, but okay.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, we all know that I'm a big Transformers fan and a big like G1 fan, but at the same time, I try my best to operate in reality. And so it's like I love Generation 1 Transformers, but there's definitely issues with it. And one of the most glaring is that the continuity is like all over the place. And that's not just like when you talk about it in relation to other things. Like I'm talking about it in relation to itself. Like Generation One Transformers, like season one of Transformers, I think contradicts itself like at least 2 times hard. You know what I'm saying? And then, probably more subtly so in other places where you're like, that doesn't quite line up with what we saw, but it's one of those things where you have to keep in mind the time that it came up in. Like in the 80s, like continuity wasn't really a thing for
Well,
children's
I mean,
programming.
that original TV show was really just a commercial for toys.
Yeah, I mean,
I
like
don't think
every
they were
cartoon in
trying
the
to
80s.
make anything like that good. I think the writers were just that talented.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where standards are different now. And like, like the like we're basically the people that grew up on those things. And when as much as we enjoyed that stuff, we were like, oh man, like, we're like, we can make something like that, but even make it like a little bit better because it'll be like it will have a through line. Which is something that was not always the case for animated television shows where you're like, because like in the 80s, it was just like every episode was like a one-off, which for better or for worse, right? Like there's something to be said about not having a hard continuity because that means you can drop into any episode of Transformers and you're going to know what's going on because they're going to tell you what's happening in the context of that episode. And if the next episode happens to contradict the last episode, that's like, well, you're watching this episode, aren't you? So yeah, so it's one of those things where I say all that to say that, yeah, you could say it could be a prequel for the G1 series only because the G1 series doesn't have our continuity, but like there's no way in my mind. And this was one of the things in the movie where, and there'll be some slight spoilers. We're not going to.
Now you said
spoil
series.
the whole thing.
I was just talking specifically the movie.
Oh, like Transformers the movie.
Yeah, not series, but just the movie.
Even the movie. I don't even think the movie, because like you can't convince me that the quintessons that I watched in that joint are the same quintessons I'm watching in the other one, right? Like they feel like they're doing something completely different.
Different artists. Look, the Harley Quinn in the last book we reviewed is not the Harley Quinn of issue 2 of that book.
There it is. There it
got
is.
the review we got. That's part of
the reason
we got the review we got. Like we're trying to do good stuff here.
Right. But yeah, like let's just start with the animation. Like Oz, you're a hardcore animation guy. How'd you feel about the animation, generally speaking?
Generally it was fine. I didn't have too many issues with it. The lip movement was a little weird at times for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, overall, especially considering there's a lot of like fast-paced stuff at certain points. I mean, there's like a race scene, that kind of stuff is always really tricky to do, the way it's blurred and all that. And I think they did fine. I have too many issues with it.
Okay, cool. Look, there it is. I know it didn't sound like it, but that's what you call high praise from Oz. What about you, Mo? How'd you feel about it?
I liked it. It worked well for me, and like I was really enjoying the movie, so the story and everything. So I didn't even focus on a lot of anything that would have been not good in it in the animation, because the story really like took me. Yeah, I really liked the the performances and the story. Like it was just well paced and all that. So I couldn't even nitpick on stuff.
Yeah. How about you, Jay?
Yeah, the animation was fine.
Okay, there it is. Look, I know it doesn't sound like it, folks, but that is also high praise from Jay. Like, yeah, man, she was fine. There it is. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't personally feel like like it definitely does the job. Let's put it like that. You know, there aren't. I was hoping there might have been a point or two where I might be a little wowed by it, from an animation perspective, not like and I can say that there wasn't any point that I personally was like, man, look how they did that. Like there was none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember watching like say something like Arcane, and I remember like distinctly watching Arcane and just being like, my God, like that sequence was amazing. You know what I mean? And it's like, unfortunately, this movie didn't have any sequence that was like that. And the closest it gets is honestly like homages to the original animated movie, where it's like, you like there was a point where you literally have like Orion Pax like striking like the one of the like iconic Optimus Prime poses in Transformers the movie, from the original Transformers the movie. And I was just like, oh, that's cool, but I like, yeah, it's one of those things where there's a reason why those young cats Joe mentioned earlier were looking at this joint like, man, that I like, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure their experience of Transformers at that point was probably relatively limited to Michael Bay movies, which, yeah, if that's what you're looking at and thinking like, okay, that's what Transformers is.
Mm-hmm.
Who was making the young cats watch the movie? Like the Haitian people, or
why Haitian people?
Oh,
Jesus! I'm talking about young cats as like dudes in general.
Oh, okay.
Not
actual
Adam.
Cats. Yeah. Okay.
Actual cats.
I feel like a lot of the, or not a lot of the animated movies we have nowadays, but quite a few like go out of their way to have these really big dynamic scenes. And I don't feel like we get that with Transformers 1. But like you watch, of course, Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
You watch Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh my God. Dude,
Oh, you need to see that.
You're missing out.
That's what everybody tells me too.
Yeah, you're missing out. Like
Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Dude, one of the best
these
villains.
fight scenes are amazing.
Oh wow!
And
okay.
That villain is terrifying too.
Dude, he is so good.
Wow.
Like,
okay.
Yeah, like I'm a little surprised.
Do I need to watch the other Puss in Boots? Because they're like 16 of them, right?
No, it's like one.
Just like The Last Wish.
Oh, okay.
There's like
Just
one
watch
other
it.
Puss in Boots movie, and then he's in the Shrek movies. But
Really?
it's standalone.
I thought they made at least like 2 or 3 of them, didn't they?
No, I'll look it up. I'm sure
No,
there's
he
just-
had a cartoon series too, I think.
that might be.
Okay.
That might be.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Like, okay. But yeah, Push Some Boots: The Last Wish. Okay, I'll mess with it.
Yeah. But you don't really get anything like that in Transformers 1. Like the closest you get is the race scene, and it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's nothing to kind of blow you away. It's very safe.
100%. Like that's what I felt. Like I felt like they weren't even trying to do that. Like they're like, no, we just got this story and make sure that this animation looks good. Like, and
I think that kind of made my enjoyment of it a little more in the sense that they're taking it like they're trying to give you cinema. Like they're trying to give you this study of these two characters and the devolution of their friendship into becoming nemesis to each other, And I really like that. I like that. That for me, that was like the moments that did wow me or blow me away were story moments,
right?
Where and that they weren't necessarily visual, but they triggered a reaction. I know at one point there was a little boy crying, and the dad's like, "Shut up!" And I'm like, "Let him cry, man. I'm crying too." It's okay to cry.
Right. What's Tiger Claw talking about, Jay?
Tiger Claw says, "What is the tone of this movie like? Because the first trailer made it feel very comedic, and then the second trailer had a different tone."
I agree with that.
I wouldn't call it serious, but I wouldn't call it a comedy either.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I definitely feel like the second trailer is closer to the tone of the movie. Like, in fact, I would honestly say the second trailer is what the tone of the movie is. The first trailer was, for some reason, like, yeah, it was definitely much more comedic,
Yeah,
and
I
it
thought it
kind
was
of
gonna be
almost
like
felt a little slapsticky, huh?
yeah, I thought it's gonna be like a buddy cop movie after that first one,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's
that's not
definitely,
what it's at all.
I mean, it's definitely not buddy cop. It is definitely a buddy movie to a degree,
Mhm.
but it definitely it morphs into something different, or starts off as a buddy movie, which we can
There is a
start getting into the
point.
story.
There is a point where it gets real.
Yeah.
And Mo was talking about the evolution of the characters from friends to enemies. And I'll tell you what, Optimus Prime, fine, I see it. Megatron, though, like
Mhm.
I felt his pain.
Mhm.
Like, dude, he made me feel like, yeah, dude, you go on. I don't agree
Right.
with that, but I get it. Go do
Yeah.
your
Right.
thing.
Right.
Be
Right.
Megatron.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like they had
That-
the same situation, but he felt the betrayal, and,
Right.
and whereas Optimus Prime's like, no, we just need to fix it, like move forward from here, and he's like, no, my entire life, like, it was taken from me for that reason,
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
and they're both right in that sense,
Right.
like that's the crazy part. And I know I was like this because they show the origin of the hand cannon, like,
Oh, I thought you were gonna say of the symbol.
of the symbol
All
too.
that.
Yeah, they do
All
that.
that.
They do the origin of the light axe. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I think that is like where the movie definitely shines, where it was like you could understand what the motivation behind both of the characters, and it's not even like a thing where, like, I feel like there are definitely people that could see uh uh like Megatron's point of view
yeah,
and might even like take the same actions. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like I don't know, like there might be people that might come away from this and kind of be like, I'm not sure if Megatron's the villain of this joint.
So they start, yeah, they take off the Autobot symbol of their car and put a Decepticon on it now. They're like fucking gonna, it's like, damn, you got to get rid of that tattoo now. I'm getting a Decepticon tattoo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But it like watching, which I mean, I think that the movie kind of hinges upon the relationship between, like the proto version of Optimus Prime and Megatron, and just kind of like watching how that relationship like devolves into something else, into something different. And man, I mean, I gotta say, like, I was like very impressed with like how well it's handled, because it's like it genuinely felt like a relationship that
Mhm.
was like, that was real. That, like, like these two guys are friends, and they're friends pretty much throughout the entire movie.
Yeah. Even in the fight,
and
like Optimus is like,
yeah,
you're still my friend. Like he still wants to redeem him, like as a friend. Like, he doesn't want to kill him.
mhm.
I mean,
Yeah, man.
even Megatron, like he's gone full evil, and he still has that moment of hesitation. That,
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil too much. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Right. Where
Mhm.
that's when he becomes full evil. But
Yeah.
he was pretty much there, and that was his like canon moment, like where it could have gone different. It would have been the whole different timeline had he done something a little different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of it, the reason this all works too, is the performances, dude, the voices. I didn't think Chris Hemsworth and the Tyree. I mean, I didn't like it in the trailer, the funny trailer, but
Mhm.
it really shines in the heavy moments. Like,
Right.
it's,
Right.
they're all, Hemsworth is always being funny, you know.
Mhm.
And here in the heavy stuff, he was really good. Even Keegan Michael Key, like in the funny moments during the dark stuff, he's still like
Yeah.
it's still
Yeah.
really good. Yeah.
Look,
You know
Keegan Michael
what?
Key. Oh, good.
I wasn't feeling the voices, but then I
Any
saw.
of them?
Well, hold on. At
Oh.
first,
Mm.
but then I saw what they were doing, because when they get the ability to transform, and
They
then when they
changed it,
become the
yeah.
prime, you know,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
they- like they change the voice.
They
Yeah.
do.
They start
Yeah.
adding a little bit more, and he's a little
Modulation.
bit more Optimus when he's Optimus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Except for
Keegan
Starscream, he's
Michael.
always Starscream.
Yeah, well, they show the origin of Starscream's voice.
Right. Right.
They got
Right.
Bumblebee.
Which I definitely wanted to which I literally held back from asking about this when we were out.
Yeah.
But, you know, Jay, I know Starscream is like legit your favorite character in Transformers. And so and I know that you had reservations about the idea of Steve Buscemi playing Starscream.
I wasn't sure if he could pull it off, but he did it good.
Yeah, see, okay, and that's what I wanted to ask you, just because, like, how did you feel about his particular characterization of Starscream, and then also how did you feel about like the change in his voice?
Oh, the characterization I thought was really good.
Mm.
Like, he's in control until he's not.
Right.
And
Yeah. In classic Starscream fashion.
Right. So I thought they did him good. And I did enjoy the voice. I did think that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, that's just a great scene.
Yeah.
Even for like Megatron, I'm like, man, that's wow. That's some IDW vibes going on there.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. Which, look, yeah, it's crazy, man.
I didn't
Because
realize it was Buscemi.
yeah, Steve Buscemi. Listen, another because, you know, I mean, I feel like for the advertising for the movie, you know, they went hard on, you know, like, I mean, the main cast, which you can't be mad at, right? They went hard on Chris Hemsworth, on Brian Tyree Henry, on Keegan Michael Key, and Scarlett Johansson. I feel like those are the people that I saw promoting this movie. You know, usually those three guys together, and then Scarlett somewhere remotely. You know, Scarlett, I promote the movie, but I'm not showing up. Scarlett Johansson, which I'm not mad at. She is in fact Scarlett Johansson, so I'm like, you know, I get it.
I think she's like nursing a kid or something right now too.
Oh, is she? Oh, I didn't know
think
that.
so with Colin Jost.
Yeah, did she just have a baby?
I think so. I'm not sure, but yeah.
I did not know that. But okay, so that makes a lot more sense then, because I was like, we don't ever see her. I'm like, wonder what's going on. I don't follow celebrities like personal lives, so I did not know that. Thank you for letting me know that. That makes a lot more sense.
I only think that because of Colin Jost. He did an interview right now because they're doing something on Peacock. Him and Michael Che together. So and they're doing everything remotely too. Because
okay, got you. See,
yeah.
So but like, you know, you have Sentinel Prime in this movie, and you know, Sentinel Prime is the guy that kind of runs the show for Cybertron basically. And you know, the performance for this character, I was like, oh man, it's really good. And I'm sitting there listening, and I'm like, man, that person, whoever that is actually doing a great job. And I remember, I think at the end of the movie, I turned to Moses and I was like, yeah, man, Sentinel Prime's good. I got to figure out who that is. And Mo was like, oh, it's John Hamm. I was like, that's John Hamm? I didn't know.
What it was is the credits came on and it said John Hamm, and you're like, who did John Hamm play? And I was like, oh, that was Sentinel Prime.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's what it was. We saw his name. Yeah. I was like, who's John Hamm in that joint? I was like, I don't remember John Hamm. But I was like, I was blown away by that performance too, and had no idea it was John Hamm.
Like you know, the decision to play it the way he played it, because he played it more like a funny guy, like just confident, like hero
Mhm.
guy, but even when he's bad, he could have gone into just a deeper like John Hamm voice,
Mhm.
with elegance in its most aggressive form. His like car commercial voice, but but now he just kept with it, and it really like it gave that character a lot of personality. Like
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
douchey, like he was really
Yeah.
douchey. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was great. I really enjoyed that joint. And I'm like, man, like that was great, man. And it's like, and it's interesting just because um, like John Hamm, like he has a fairly meaty role. But even the people that don't have as big of a role, like still bring it. Like, I mean, like, like Buscemi, it doesn't have like a huge role, but he does a great job. Same thing with uh Lawrence Fishburne's Alpha Trion. Like Alpha Trion is like, not like a huge role, but I mean Lawrence Fishburne's not gonna phone it in, right? Like
Yeah.
like that's not what he does. And so I was like, man, like, yeah, it was a solid voice cast. It was a
Yeah.
solid voice cast.
And I like that
Um
he had a beast mode.
oh yeah, you're into the oh well, you just like the beast
Yeah.
representation, Beast
Well, they
Wars
have
representation.
organic life. They had grass and shit in it's so yeah. And then
Yeah, see,
in a beast mode, so I'm like, yeah.
it's interesting because that's a part of the whole movie that I was a little bit like, oh, like because look, I am not a fan of organic Cybertron. Like I don't like that aspect of any Transformers, anything, honestly, to be with you. Like generally speaking, like
Yeah.
I know that even though like I liked, like I'm a fan. I became a fan of Beast Wars, and I even like Beast Machines, even though Beast Machines leans real heavy into the whole organic core
Yeah.
Cybertron thing, and I'm like, oh, like it's the worst part of it, without question. But it's like it does it in semi decent way, I
Well, I
guess.
like it
But
because then that makes sense for Animorphs to exist.
what's Animorphs got to do with Transformers?
They're Transformers.
Hmm.
Like in the book said Transformers Animorphs. And when they had the show, it was a Transformers show.
Yeah, but we don't. But no, though, right?
But now we do. Now that this movie set it up for it.
But
Like
no,
we're gonna get a Skybound book too.
no.
It's gonna be tight.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. But what I will say is,
Not as
despite
long as
the
Night Thrasher is an Avenger.
say what?
So not as long as Night Thrasher is an Avenger.
I'm not as long. Oh, Joe's like he's using his veto power, his
Yeah.
reality warping veto.
Yeah, Night Thrasher gets his it gets an event. He's an Avenger, and fucking I can't get beyond the Spider-Verse.
But friggin' friggin' oh damn, what was I trying to say? I was trying to say oh, they touch on like the organic aspect or organic things being on Cybertron, but they don't really like dwell on it that much. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like it kind of is there and then kind of not there. I don't know if there was like a different cut that spoke towards that a little bit more or what, but and it's interesting because they go with the comic book kind of origin of Cybertron too, with like Primus and all that kind of stuff, which is like not something that you see. Well, I won't say that you like it happens in some places and it doesn't happen in others, or other places it's alluded to but never confirmed, and so
Right.
that
And
was like something interesting
Beast
too.
Wars does that too, where it's like they kind of use the Primus thing, but not as detailed as this movie does.
Yeah, absolutely not. Like, yeah, there's like a legit like origin where it's like Primus becomes Cybertron, and then like he like Primus would be fighting Unicron, and Unicron decided to like like become like a living planet thing, and there's like a whole thing about the two of them being like, kind of like cosmic forces that are
Yeah.
diametrically opposed to each other, which, I don't know if they're gonna do any of that in this, but like, I guess we'll see. I guess it all depends to how well the movie does, right? Which
Yeah.
I don't even know if there's any like numbers in regards to
Well, it's not
the
officially out. I mean, that was
Yeah,
just
it's not officially
pre.
out yet.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know if they're like, I wonder, like, how's that work? Like, are they going to put the numbers from this past weekend with like the Thursday, Friday numbers, or like, are they just put it all with the weekend? Like, I wonder how that works. Or are they just like, oh, these don't count. We're just using it to get buzz, which, even though I will say, like, I know for myself, I'm like, I would go see this joint again, like this
Oh yeah.
weekend.
My brother wants to
Like,
go see it, so he's like, "I'm gonna see that shit as soon as I can." Like, because I was telling him about it yesterday, and I was explaining. I
mhm.
basically told him the whole story, and he's like, "That shit's fucking tight." Like, he loved it. Yeah. And I told him that they showed organic Cybertron too, and he's like, "Oh," because he loves Beast Machines. Like, well, he loves it all. Like, he watches what is it, the Rescue Heroes, Transformers
Oh
Rescue
wow! Like
Heroes.
that is hardcore.
He
Out
loves
here with
it.
the Rescue Heroes.
Yeah,
Okay.
like he watches the one that was like Pokemon, like you got to catch them all, catch all of the
Oh
Decepticons.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he
That
loved that.
with
Like,
the mini cons.
yeah, and then he watches like the web series, like I forget what it was called, but like Tales of Cybertronia or some shit. But yeah, it brings up a good point too now, because now like you're talking about like how Primus and Unicron, and then now bringing up Animorphs too. It's like, who's the Celestial there? Like, it's Coitus, right? Primus, Coitus, and Unicron.
Coitus. I don't think that's the name of it. It's
Yeah,
Coitus.
I'll find out. I have a long flight this weekend, so I'll read all the Animorphs on the flight.
I can guarantee you it's not gonna be Coitus. Coitus Prime. There it is. But yeah, like, I mean, I will say that, like, I went into this movie based on that second trailer. I was like, okay, you know what? I think this joint is actually going to be good. Like, I'm expecting to have a good time. And what I can say is, because of the story they told and the performances that were given, I actually had a great time. I was just like, man, I came away like happy as a clam. I was like, oh man, like I would not mind if this was what like the general public thought of when they thought of Transformers. Like, even though like my heart's still with G1, and like, ultimately that's where, like, if everyone's frame of reference was that would be great. But that's not the case, right? So it's like, if this is what enters the zeitgeist as what Transformers is, I would be okay with that, because this feels close enough to what in the spirit of what the original series was like to me. But yeah.
I really, part of the animation and stuff that I did like is the designs of how, like, they're gonna be vehicles, but they're not like vehicles because they don't have like Mack trucks in Cybertruck, so having it still have the same design, and that's why on Earth it looks that way, is because how it looks that way. But that's always been something that I've always it's a conflict when you think of the realism of Transformers, you know what I mean? But
Right.
but yeah, those F-16 jets are always F-16 jets. Like,
Yeah, man.
yeah, and they look
it
cool
is
as fuck.
true.
Like, you can't, like, you don't want it to be different because they look cooler that way. Yeah.
No, I agree. It is fun to see how they do it. But it's one of those things where I know for myself, it's like Transformers has always been a thing where you have to have a certain like suspension of disbelief,
Yeah,
right? Where it's like,
totally.
I mean,
Because they're playing with toys, like, so
Right.
they're like,
right.
yeah,
It's like there's no reason for an alien robot to be named Bumblebee.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. And ironically enough, like they don't ever call that fool Bumblebee in this, right? They just call him
No.
B.
He's B some random
B
number,
127.
and that's
So-
Tron.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, so who knows? Maybe they won't even call that fool
Yeah.
Bumblebee until he gets to Earth.
Like the only one that doesn't get a name change is Elita.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, but that makes sense. I mean, like, I guess it makes sense to a certain degree, right? Because, but Bumblebee doesn't get a name change either, right?
Yeah, that's Tron.
No, that.
And eventually Bumblebee.
You have to say it with a deep voice. Badass.
Oh,
You
that's
did
right. I
it.
wasn't saying it right.
Yeah, there it is now. You mispronounced it.
I guess
You gotta
technically other
the
ones
culture.
have their nicknames. I heard Ratchet in there.
Yeah,
I
and
think
Jazz.
I think Jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was Jazz. And like there was a lot of like
Soundwave
if
or Soundwave and Shockwave were still Soundwave and Shockwave, right?
Yeah. But I feel like there was a lot of like little cameos. Like if you know your Transformers, like you can definitely
Yeah.
tell like some of the designs were like,
Yeah.
they were like. I mean, I know for myself, I was like, oh, like I remember watching,
they're
and I'm like,
getting
oh,
the
there's
gears.
Ironhide.
Yeah.
Say what?
When they're getting their gears and they start like changing, like, oh, I know that guy.
Yeah, right. It's like that's Ironhide there, and I'm like, there's friggin' I remember seeing Brawn, where I'm just like, oh, that's cool. Like, and I was like to me, I'm like, okay, that's obviously who that is. But it's one of those things where it's just color schemes, where it's like, okay, like, and I guess shapes, some of the shapes of their stuff.
Hey, so you're a Transformers guy. How do you feel?
He prefers to be called trans.
How do you feel about this origin story as opposed? I don't know if there's a comic or something else that gives this origin to those characters, or the beginning of the Civil War or anything like that.
Right. No, I mean like Joe mentioned the IDW comic earlier, and there is like it definitely feels like this story was somewhat inspired by that. It definitely has like its own like twists that it decides to take, but like the idea, like at least if I'm remembering correctly, I'm pretty sure that was like the first place where they kind of were really like suggested like Optimus Prime and Megatron were like friends beforehand, or at least colleagues, you know what I'm saying? Maybe even if not, maybe friends. And so and it was there, like, again, like Jade mentioned gladiatorial pits, like that was more of the thing then in that book, where
That was
had-
Dreamwave, right? Or IDW.
did Dreamwave have Megatron as a gladiator? I don't
I thought
remember.
it did, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't read those books. I just looked at the drawing.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, hey, I get it.
They
Yeah, I'd have to double check, because maybe they both did it, but
Yeah.
the comics is the first place where I like, and it's those more modern comics, because like they weren't friends in the original Marvel comic books.
Yeah.
And I don't remember it ever happening in the cartoon or in any of the cartoons, unless I mean, there's been a few series that I haven't really followed, but
You'd have to ask my brother.
right. So, but yeah, but I would say generally speaking, it's only been a story that's happened like pretty much like once, maybe twice. And I do think it was primarily from comic books. I don't think it was any of the animated stuff beforehand. But I mean the execution of it here I thought was pretty good. And yeah, man, like I like you mentioned before, Oz, like the vocal performances and like how they kind of as they grow and change in the story, their demeanors and their voices change as well, and that's pretty cool. Like they kind of grow into like but like it's Orion and is it? Oh, look, I was about to say it's D12, but it's not D12. What is it? D12 is the
D
music group.
D12.
Not.
No, like
What's that fool's name?
128. I think it's like D128 or something.
Oh, is it something like that? Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
there is like one
whatever,
in but I
whatever.
also think Bumblebee was B128. So
Oh, okay. So maybe, yeah. But either way, like, you know, they grow from that into Optimus and the Megatron that we are more familiar with. And so, you kind of go on the journey with those characters, and that's pretty cool.
Megatron was D16. Bumblebee was
D16.
B127.
B1. I wonder how they decided on the numbers. Yeah. Good to know. Yeah. Well, I'm sure that somebody will figure that out or speak on that one of these days, especially if the movie ends up being popular. So, okay. Anybody got anything else that they want to say about Transformers 1 before we
I really like the Arachnid character.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the design and the character and all that, like, because to me it speaks to some of the Beast Wars stuff. Like, it's like a descent. Was it a precedent to like a Black Arachnia or Tarantulas?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But my brother's like, yeah, that's the helicopter, and I go, yeah, here's like a helicopter too, but it's like one of this crazy drone shit too. And then what they do with the eyes and the memory bank and all that, it's really cool. And so I was explaining that to him, and he goes, "That sounds fucking amazing!" Like he's gonna go see it.
Yeah. I like the design for that character was pretty awesome. I was a little thrown off by the helicopter, but I guess it makes sense though, right? Because it doesn't make sense for it to turn into a spider,
right?
Yeah, but it makes
she's
sense
more of a spider in her robot form,
right? It makes what?
Propeller, yeah.
It makes sense for her to have that many legs if they all become the propeller rotor things.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like her robot mode is more of a beast mode than anything because she looks like a big spider. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But it
I wonder how that toy is gonna work. Like,
look, I hope it's a DJI drone. Like, I've been looking for a reason to buy those.
So, but yeah, no, it was a cool character.
Have they released toys for these yet or no?
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. They have Megatron, Badassatron, and Optimus.
Yeah.
Can they make them in Hot Wheels? Like, because I don't have a lot of space.
There is a race action figure set 3-pack where it's their automobile form.
No, but I want like that Optimus Prime one that's $80. It's a Hot Wheels collab that actually transforms, but it's the size of a Matchbox car. And, like, dude,
that's like a little statue, right?
No, it transforms.
No, it transforms, but I'm saying like it's not like a toy. I think it's like it transforms like on a pedestal or something, right?
Oh, I'm gonna play with it.
Okay. I'm just saying, if you take it off the pedestal, it's gonna break. Is what I'm saying.
They have the spider, but I'm not sure I'm feeling that.
Let's see, share it if you can.
I would like to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like super cheap, so it can't be that good.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, listen, they're making it for kids to buy. So, and here's the thing. It's way better than what we got when we were kids. I mean, well, I shouldn't say it like that.
No, man, we had die-cast construction, man.
Well, yeah, but we had die-cast construction, but then it didn't look anything like the cartoon sometimes. Like if you look at say we talked about Ratchet and Hound earlier.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, that's not. That turns into a spider.
Yeah.
That's not the transformation. Is there one that's a?
Oh no, that's not good at all. Yeah, look, I don't think these kids have it better than we did.
Yeah, see, in this middle image, it kind of looks like it's turning into a into
The
that
drone,
whatever.
like helicopters. and
right.
everything.
Yeah, but then it just ends up like
I wonder if there's another, because I know there's other generations of or iterations of Arachnid. So that is a helicopter. So I wonder if they did toys for that looks better.
What is that
Yeah.
character's name?
Arachnid?
yeah, Arachnid 4. Oh, 4
Yeah.
inch. Never mind. Just Arachnid. Yeah, look, it's
Okay.
$8.50.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Can't be mad at that.
I mean,
You
I'm
can be a
down to
little
pay, I'm down to pay $50 if it looks tight as fuck. Well,
They
like
got
they had the
wheelchair?
Earthrise, like figures that looked really good, like,
Mhm.
and those were like, I think they were like $22, but they look better than this.
Now,
Here's
I
the
think
other
that they do have like some studio series versions of the Transformers 1 that came out or got announced. Maybe if you take a look at that for that Oz, you can show Mo like the difference, because those are like more what you're thinking about, Mo, where those are like maybe $20 figures
Mhm.
or or $25 figures, but like the studio series is amazing because like the studio series is like stuff that they were releasing. Some of
Yeah.
them are like Michael Bay movie stuff, but the
Yeah.
majority of them have been like like the 86 Transformers movies
Yeah.
toys, but like in
Look, and I'm not
like
even
that look like that.
with the base stuff. Like, as angry as I can be with it, the design is a little part of it. It's the story more than anything,
Yeah.
Because if the story was better, I don't care about the design, like, or at
I
least
hear that.
I can put up with the design. Because
Right.
I mean, I watched, like, my guilty pleasure is just watching the robot fights
Mhm.
out of all these movies. I don't watch the movies, but I do watch them fight, and I'm like, dang, that looks
Mhm.
tight. Yeah, like, dang, hand cannon and light axe.
Is that the studio series for Transformers 1?
Transformers Toy Studio Series, whatever. It's a long ass name.
But it's for I
It's
think
for the
it's
movie. I mean, there's
for Transformers 1.
I don't think that might be for. Is that for the game?
That
'Cause it could
that
be
looks
for the
like
game.
it looks like the War for Cybertron.
Well, you
or
said
Kingdom.
Studio Series. You said Studio Series.
No, and it's fine. Like, that's what it is. It's just it might not be Transformers 1. That's all.
Right.
But it looks
Yeah.
cool. Like, because
That looks great.
Looks like the War for Cybertron one.
Yeah, I think that is the War for Cybertron. Yeah, which is fine. Like it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, this is Barricade.
Yeah,
So
that's
this probably is the game.
Yeah, which is those are cool toys too. But the studio series across the board, even the Michael Bay studio series stuff is actually pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
but the Michael Bay toys have always looked better than what they look like in the movie, because the movie designs are super impractical and it just looks like a whole bunch of like garbage like moving.
Yeah.
And the toy designers are like, well, we can't have it look like garbage.
Like, they have cogs that move for no reason. Like,
yeah, exactly. Right. It just looks like a pile of trash. And it's like the toys designers are like, well, how do we make that work in real life? And so they always look a little bit better, just because, don't get me wrong though, because they always put those terrible faces on them though, because that's probably the worst part of Michael Bay, like the Bayformer movies. Like, the faces are always terrible and wrong. Like, the only one who has a decent face is Optimus Prime. Everybody else is just like, yeah.
Oh, I think I found it.
Okay.
Hold on. Oh, it's so many clicks. Why do I have to click
so many clicks?
Oh yeah, no, I see the one you're talking about, Larry. This one.
Yeah, I think that is it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that looks good. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean.
Oh, it's got the axe too. The energy axe.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
So
yeah. I'm gonna get it.
There's the truck.
Emily's gonna be mad because
it's only $25. I mean, how much can she get? Yeah.
Well, look, I'm gonna buy every single
it's just
one.
The
of
space.
Them. Yeah, the space. And I'm gonna buy like 3, because 1 to play with, 1 to show off, 1 and 2 to potentially sell, and then 1 to keep in box. So that's 4. That's $100 figure, and I want to get all of them.
There's a video.
I know we went to buy some stuff at Marshall's today, and she's like, "Look at this!" And it's Across the Spider-Verse Pops,
Oh,
a
look at
double
Hank.
pack. And she's like, "You want this, don't you?" I'm like, I pretended like I didn't, and she goes, "Well, then leave it." And
Look,
I
it
left
goes on the
I left it. That's
Think-
tight.
You have the
Yeah.
axe still there when it's transformed, so you don't like
Yeah.
have it hanging out somewhere.
Right.
Mm-hmm. No, man, Hasbro's been pretty good with that kind of stuff as of late, where they're like, we know, like they understand, like we have these accessories, and again, I think this goes back to the idea of like the people that were playing with this kind of stuff when we were all younger are the ones that are designing it now, and they're like, let's find a place to put that stuff so we don't lose it. Like even they do it with like the Marvel figures and stuff too, where like they'll have like I remember I feel like that was a thing with like the Ghost Rider with the Hell Charger joint, where they were just like, oh yeah, we made the trunk like actually a trunk, so all your special effects can go right into this, you know what I'm saying? Or they'll make the base, and the base has little pegs where you can put the other stuff so that you don't lose that stuff, and it's like, yeah, for real, because like nothing sucks more than when you're like, oh, I have one hand but not the other.
Yeah.
Like so okay, let's rate Transformers 1. Jay, let's start with you, buddy. What would you rate Transformers 1?
I'd give it a 4. I enjoyed it. Not as much as the original, but it's pretty good on its own.
Cool. Sounds good to me. Oscor, what would you rate Transformers 1?
I think 4.5 is a good place for it. It's good. It's entertaining. I thought it started off a little slow, but it ramps up pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Moses Magnum, what are you rating Transformers 1?
I actually give it a 5. I do feel like I thought because it's gonna be animated, they're gonna try to make it for kids, and it's suitable for kids. Kids can enjoy it. Kids can get into it, but the story is very deep and it can get heavy. And the philosophy behind it, like that's some like Dostoevsky shit, like in terms of like the good and evil and the means to an end and shit like that, or political ideology, shit like that. And it really like they whittle it down like little tiny pieces of energon that I can take in, and so that I think that's really like a kid could watch it now and have it be his Transformers introduction. It's like that's like the way we look at the '86 movie. I can see a kid seeing that for his kid about this movie when they fuck up the live action in that generation, and and I wouldn't be mad. Like if I was my grandkid and that's his, like yeah, like we both have our animated that is ours,
right?
Kind of going with like it really does get deep into the philosophy of Optimus Prime and Megatron. So I think they actually gave us a film, and it's a better. It's like I was never like happier to see produced by Michael Bay in this movie, because it's like he put somebody else to do it instead of him. Like the ones that other people do are better than the ones that he does. So, yeah. At least between this one and the Bumblebee movie, yeah.
You're right. You're absolutely right. For me, I'm gonna give it a 4.5 as well. Like, it's an amazing flick. I really enjoyed it as a fan. And I enjoyed it as like its own thing, where it's like, like Moses just said, as it's like introduction for Transformers to a different generation. So yeah, man, I hope they make a sequel. I don't know if I want it to be called Transformers 2. but I probably will be, right?
How about Two Formers?
No, definitely not that. I'll definitely take Transformers 2 over Transformers or over Two Formers, but hey.
How about if it's Transformers but the S is a 2?
Yeah. I'm down for that. Like that's kind of gimmicky, but I'll take it. Transformers 2. So But yeah, man, yeah. I honestly I can't wait to go watch it again.
How about if
'cause
it's
it was a good time.
Transformers: A Folie à Deux?
A folie à deux? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Like Joker?
yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Look, as long as it's as good as the first one, sure. Let's do it. So,
Sell
all right. You guys want to do a little bit of news before we go to Duck and Cover?
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
Comic book news.
We should have a like
Comic book
current.
news.
Well, not like that, but like.
All right. Mo,
Yeah.
have you heard about IDW talking about they're gonna make a pivot to horror comics?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's absolutely like
I heard about it.
I heard about it. It's like you forget that me and Joe were talking to the dudes at the 25th anniversary party this past Comic-Con. Like, we're like, we
There
don't
it
have
is.
enough horror comics. Like, Beneath the Tree, where nobody sees, is like the closest thing to the horror stuff that they really have. But it's like even though it's a cute teddy bear, it's the more human horror. Like your neighbor could kill you.
Right.
So it's like
Right.
what if we get some really good talent and start doing some of this, especially seasonally and horror comics right now are selling pretty well. Like a lot of there's a lot more niche companies coming out. Like there's more of the whole like perversions of science and kind of there's a resurgence to like the Tales from the Crypt type comics right now. I think there's about 2 different books coming out each week, and they're just small prints, and I'm trying to read all of them, but it's hard. So, but yeah, it definitely of course, Larry, that's a stupid question. You know that.
Also, they all like the segment where you watch scary trailers. So
Right, yeah. So what
That's
we're doing
hilarious.
at IDW is we're gonna put out trailers so that Larry could watch them.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's like hey, I told him this is the stuff, the kind of stuff we do. We make Larry watch scary things. It's like, oh damn, scary comics. Yeah, let's make Larry watch those too.
So
Speaking of, go ahead.
okay. Oh no, I was just gonna say that the CEO and new publisher basically said that they're gonna start an imprint, and definitely thinking about the fact like how like Vertigo has the lack of Vertigo has left a gap in the industry, and IDW is gonna basically try to fill that. And it's expected that they're gonna make a more official announcement at New York Comic Con, which is coming up in October. So yeah, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jay.
I was just going to say, speaking of trailers, I know we haven't spoke on the Uzumaki trailer on the show.
Oh yeah, no, on Discord.
Lawrence,
yeah.
what did you think of this trailer?
I do my best to not think about it. Yeah. No, man, that joint's eerie. It's really eerie, which means that it's doing the job right.
Yeah.
But I may not be able to watch that movie. I don't know, man. It feels like
Well, you watched the live action one already.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, this feels worse.
And if you follow our Discord, you did watch the Hank Hill fan comic. Like
The what?
there's a King of the Hill Uzumaki that I put into our Discord. And it's
I probably
and it's
made
a
a
web
mistake.
comic that they did, like a fan, like it's like what if Uzumaki happened in
King of the
Ireland.
Hill?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. What did you all think of it?
I think it looks great. Definitely worth the wait. Like, I know they first started showing the teaser like years ago, before the pandemic or like right around then. And we've just been waiting and not hearing anything, and to finally see this trailer is exciting. And yeah, I was very happy with what I saw.
I was the same way. Like the only thing I could think of is like, you know how in porn the chicks like bend over and the dude's giving it to her real good and she goes, "Fuck, it's so good." Like, so I I put that meme in there like right when Jay saw it because it is that good. Like it's like I can't say anything other than "fuck." It's so good, and it's deep inside me now.
Yeah,
you can,
man.
so yeah, you can see
Ugh.
that if you follow our Discord. Like, yeah, that was my response when I saw it. I'm like, dude, like this shit's it's so fucking good. Like, like it's just a trailer. Like, if I never got anything else, I think I'd be okay. Like, the trailer itself is an achievement in the, you know, how we've come as far as the people from the Neanderthal days up until now. Yeah,
Yeah, man. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know if
Oh, you're gonna
like,
love it, Larry. Like, you're gonna
I
love
don't
it.
want to be weirded out by a cartoon.
You watched that Mr. Pickles episode where the butthole like burped after eating a salad.
No, but like, okay, I don't be scared of a cartoon. Let's put it like that. I don't want to have a nightmare about a cartoon. That makes me feel like different about myself, and I don't want that to happen. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see. I'm glad it exists. I'm glad that it's there for you all. I just don't know if I need it in my life because I might not. I might.
Guess what? Larry's gonna get videotaped watching Uzumaki.
It's only 4 episodes.
Yeah.
What's our next news story?
This dude talks about the guy that's behind Agatha and the Coven of Darkness or whatever. Like, you know how they change the names and shit. So he talks about the name change. He's like, yeah, with this title specifically, like when I made a piece in WandaVision very early on, he's just having fun with it. Like, but I'm like, dude, I don't want fun. I want this shit to be good. You know, like
it could be both technically.
No.
No, okay.
No, yeah. Like if he's putting energy into for the promotion of it being fun, he's not putting energy into the shit being good. So that's how I see it. Like, you shut the fuck up about it, leave the title. Yeah, like in the promotion of it, they're interviewing and he talks about the fucking title. He's like, no, instead of talking about how great it's gonna be. But I do love the witches in the Marvel universe, you know, like, and this show I feel like is gonna do good stuff, and they have the same character in it that was the witch in Runaways, the mom, and she was also in Doctor Strange, and so they got the same actress to be in these 3 things, and it's like it's so like I really like that about it because I've been following that mystical side from watching these different properties within the Marvel universe. So I'm excited, like, just to see her in it again. Like, she rarely says much. She said more in Runaways than she did in Doctor Strange, but definitely, like, I want to see what happens here. Like, if it's even the same character, I know she's the same character in Doctor Strange and Runaways by virtue of like that's the character's arc. That's kind of a minor character, and but yeah, so we'll see what they do with that here. And I would have talked about if I was him and I'm getting interviewed by the shit CBR. That's what I would talk about, like cool shit like that instead of the name change. Like, I want it to be fun. Like, fuck you. I want you to want it to be good.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry, Larry.
No, it's okay. This is okay.
I realized with that story, I lost like three listeners. So
Mattel is celebrating the 85th anniversary of Batman with some Batman-related Barbies.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with the good story.
Listen, don't act like you don't want this, Oz. It's okay.
No, you're going with the Barbie as a celebration. I thought him getting a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame would be a bigger deal, but no, you talk about your Barbie.
But with who getting the star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
Batman's getting a star in the Walk of Fame.
Batman's not real. You know that, right?
Neither is Mickey Mouse. He's got a star.
Oh, Mickey Mouse is real. Don't tell Larry that. Like,
I listen. I don't know. I'm like,
there's a reason why he doesn't want to have nightmares about a cartoon.
I don't.
They've already got him. Like Disney got him like that.
I think Donald's got one too.
I don't know if fictional characters should get stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
I don't think people should get stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Why not?
Because they're not real. Like, it's not a real honor. Like, you have to pay the upkeep and everything instead of being honored. Like, it should be somebody else paying the upkeep. Like, for that, I could get my own. And yeah, you know what? Give me mine, and I'll pay the upkeep. I'll pay double the upkeep just to get mine. Like,
I just pulled up.
Nobody knows who the fuck I am, but I could just pay to have it.
I just pulled up a list of fictional characters with a star, and the fact that Batman hasn't gotten one is practically a crime when I look at this list.
Who's on it? Who's on it that you feel like didn't deserve it before Batman?
The Munchkins.
I mean, like from the Wizard of Oz.
I believe so. Although, look, and those guys were dicks. Like, I've heard stories of those actors.
One of them killed themselves, right? Sure. Like during the movie.
They might have all of. I don't know, but the Munchkins have it as a group.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they were the same dudes in the Willy Wonka one. That's why Tim Burton just used the same guy over and over again.
Shrek.
Yeah.
Shrek. The Rugrats. Simpsons. I could see that. I don't know.
It's one of those things. Like, I mean, Mo is partially right in the sense that you just pay for it, or you pay for it and you get it. But I don't think anybody can just pay for a star.
No, there's a criterion, but if I could raise enough money, and you listening could join our Patreon and make sure I can raise that money, and we'll get a Fantastic Forum Hollywood Walk of Fame star with a little microphone on it like this. Yeah,
I don't know, man.
It's not just.
I think if we raise enough money and offer it to them, they'll do it. Like, we have enough. Look, we've been doing this show for like 17 years, so even though it's still the same, like, I think we could make a case for them letting us do it with the right amount of money as well.
Sheesh.
It took so long to get Adam West a star. I don't know, man.
Again,
I'm down to try though. Let's do it. I'm down.
All right, I'll start the campaign. I'll do a Indiegogo.
No. I think we should just focus on buying Funimation.
Look, we could have done that if we weren't like, well, if it would have happened last year, I think we could have done that.
Yeah, man. But that's cool that Batman's getting a star. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna knock it. I'm just like, yeah.
But back to the Barbies, like, I think I want those.
Yeah, listen, there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna want them. Like not me, but I'm not mad at anybody that would. I mean, they're definitely very collectible,
Mm-hmm. And they're comic booky, like, and the design are good. The pictures you were showing, I'm like, man, if that was on my thing back here, like, that looked pretty cool. Like,
no, 100%. Like, like, and like,
I'm not having a party with them or anything, I'm just...
What I can say too is, like, the Poison Ivy looked different than the Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just like, it wasn't like just random Barbie with just like that motif. Right, exactly. It's not right. And it's not like they just gave Barbie Harley Quinn's clothes. Like, they made a Harley Quinn version.
Low key,
was it just those two?
I need to start, yeah.
Low key, if that's all they did, I wouldn't be mad either. Like, because that's kind of like on par with like Barbie, especially classic Barbie. It's like you got Malibu Barbie. It's the same thing, just a different bikini or clothes,
Yeah.
Let me know when they add Catwoman so I could give a Gotham City Siren.
That's what I was thinking. Like, getting those and like a punchline and White Rabbit.
Which line?
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah, they're not sirens.
they were in Siren's books. and I wanna get it.
I am a little bit
Yeah, the terrible
surprised.
one. Like I'd sooner have Talia.
A Transformer
would
in a
be-
shitty cartoon would be. It's still a Transformer, so
A Talia Barbie doll might be something that I would actually be interested in myself, honestly. Where I'm just like, yeah, I don't know why, but I'm just a fan of Talia al Ghul, so I'm just like, yeah, I might mess with that. But what I will say is, I am shocked by the idea that there wasn't a Catwoman, just because if you're talking about a Batman anniversary, it feels like, yeah, I get why you would do Harley Quinn. And I obviously I get if you're gonna do Harley Quinn why you would do Poison Ivy, but it would seem like Catwoman will be a more natural kind of like one of the first things you would do.
Like, the three together should be ideal.
Yeah.
Like, what you do because I understand like,
I'm
'cause, like she's like into Batman and stuff, and I know Barbie's whole thing is like they want a dude that's castrated. So it's like Batman ain't castrated. We saw the Black Label book. Yeah, we know he's Jewish, but he ain't castrated. Yeah.
Catwoman can like Batman and still be empowering.
No, that's not what Barbie's about.
Okay.
You saw the movie.
That's not what,
yeah.
I did not actually.
Oh, really? Oh, what a bigot. Yeah, you really hate women that much.
Who am I bigot against?
Women, yeah.
What?
It's sexist.
I just haven't seen it.
Yeah. Huh?
It's
Yeah,
sexist.
exactly.
I just haven't seen.
Just like all those other dudes that hate women. You
Got
refuse
it.
to watch Barbie.
I don't refuse. I just haven't seen it yet. It's
Right.
it's just like Puss in Boots.
Well, yeah.
Just haven't seen it.
Again, puss, women, like you're really like showing your sexism there. Like your
I didn't see
Chauvinism.
Oppenheimer either.
Again, anti-Semitism. Like you're a bigot.
You're a bigot. Jeez,
Yeah.
man.
I can't realize. I
Golly.
don't know how we've been friends this long.
Yeah, man. Look, who knew? Friggin'
You haven't seen
male
Oppenheimer for
chauvinist.
real?
No.
Dang.
No, look, it's like
There
it's
is women in
legit.
that too. So yeah.
He doesn't like Florence Pugh though.
Yeah.
Should we get to our final review?
We should.
Nah.
We
I'm
should.
kidding.
We should. Let's do it.
Woo! Comic book.
Review.
Comic book.
like
Review.
news.
well, not like that, but like
All right. Duck and Cover #1. Jay, you think you can tell the good people what this book's about?
All right, it's the 50s. There's a black kid who's wants to be a filmmaker, but he's got to deal with a whole bunch of like racism and dogs, and he's basically trying to get out of his town and go to Hollywood, and the Reds dropped the bomb, and now he's got to deal with that shit.
The end. There it is. Okay. He's like, I love how you're like, he has to deal with racism and dogs. Which I'm like, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Jay, you read issue 1. Did you read anything beyond that?
No.
Okay,
Just
which is
issue
okay.
1.
Yeah. And I know, like, Mo, you didn't get the chance to read it, unfortunately.
No,
right?
I remember seeing the cover, but
Yeah.
they don't sell Dynamite digitally, or Boom Studios digitally. But I realized that it was a Comixology original before, and I'm like, I could have read it, but nobody told me.
Yeah. I blame Oz for that. Oz didn't want you to know.
You're
Oz,
welcome.
like, Oz, did you get to read the book?
Yeah. The first
Okay, cool.
one, I could have read all 4, but didn't want to.
Right. That's fair. That's fair. Look, Oz, why didn't you want to? What was it about reading the first one that didn't compel you to read the next?
It is a lot of words. Like it might as well be a book for the first half. It doesn't really get interesting until it's not even the second half. It's like the fourth quarter of the book. But the last few pages do kind of get interesting. Yeah, because it becomes War of the Worlds at that point. At least you think it looks like aliens to me, but alternate universe, it could just be like advanced Russian tech. It's a reason to read book 2, but I spent so much time trying to get through the first book that I couldn't get to the second.
That's fair. No, that's
Look,
fair. So
I don't need 2 pages of backstory, and when I say 2 pages, I don't mean like panels and some word bubbles. I mean like the page is practically text on a backstory on a character that is gonna die 3 pages later. Like I don't need all that. You want to let me know the kid's an asshole? Let me know the kid's an asshole. You don't have to give me his whole life story.
That's fair. That's fair. So from your perspective, Scott Snyder being a bit too verbose in this book.
Well, like they spend a lot of time pointing out that like the main kid's dad is a janitor.
Yeah.
I get why, but I don't need that much of it. Like mention it at the beginning when he hands his kid the gift, but then I don't need it, or not even that. Just mention it when they're making fun of him. But I don't need those 2 times, and then there's like a couple other times where they mention his dad's a janitor. Like, it's just too much. You could have condensed it. It's too wordy. You could have condensed it a lot more and streamlined it. But once the action happens, then it starts to really become better.
Okay. Jay, how did you feel about it, man? Like, was it wordy to you?
No, I enjoyed it. Like, I will say I am waiting to figure out who the narrator is. But that's like just a story thing. But yeah, like I enjoyed it, like for the most part. I mean, yeah, it deals with themes that I've seen done before. So I don't necessarily need to spend as much time there as we did, but I didn't dislike it. Like, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting because like I definitely felt the way you did, Jay. At the same time, I can see where Oz was coming from in regards to, like maybe it could have got like another pass from an editor. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to kind of streamline it a little bit, maybe. Personally, I like Scott Snyder's writing, generally speaking, and I feel like this book was like a decent example of that. But I do think from a pacing perspective, maybe it could have been a little bit different, just because like I know that like I was expecting it to be a completely different type of story, because I went into it blind, and so
as did I.
Right. So as I was like reading, I was thinking like, oh, okay, like we are gonna like this is an interesting story, or interesting type of story Scott Snyder decided to tell, because I'm like, are we really going to be following like this kid's journey into trying to become a Hollywood director in the late 1950s, early 1960s? Like, because I thought that's what the book was going to be about.
Well, that's what they imply with the title and the description. Explains why they named it that, and that's not where it goes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, duck and cover like I didn't like for me, I was like I wasn't sure why it was going to be called Duck and Cover, and then when I started reading the book, I was like, oh, okay, like yes, like the Cold War and the Red Scare, you know. So I'm like, oh, okay, like
I read that on
you
the
know,
descriptor that about the films that the kids watched about what to do in
yeah,
case
yeah,
of nuclear strike. And reading that, and then it starts off with this kid wanting to be a filmmaker. Like
hmm
I was putting two and two together. Okay, we're gonna follow this kid. He's gonna become some great director, or he's gonna
yeah, yeah,
make one of these movies. No, that's not.
yeah. No, it's definitely not. It's not where it goes. It turns into something very different from that, which I was just like, oh. So, and
I was
again,
actually expecting that.
you weren't expecting that.
No, I was expecting it to go in the direction it did.
Oh,
Like
really? That's
the
so interesting.
sci-fi took me off guard a little,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Just the cover, because it's written in that font that the old like mystery serials are.
Yeah,
So
you're
I was
right.
kind of like that subliminally set my expectations.
That's interesting. You're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it's that old movie poster font.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Larry, I gotta ask you a question because I know you read American Vampire and
Right.
the team. Like, how do you feel this like? When you've seen them work in the past together and now they're working together again, like how's that? Is it up to par, or is it what you expected when you hear those two names together? I know they do historical art and stuff in that as well, and I think
hmm
Raphael Albuquerque, I think it's particularly good at doing like greaser and 50s type
hmm
cars and shit. So, how do you
Yeah, yeah.
feel about seeing the team reunited here?
Well, the team being reunited was the whole reason why the book intrigued me. So
Hmm.
I was like, okay, like I want to see what these guys do. And I didn't, you know, for me, I was like, I don't care what the story is. I just want to see what they do. Now, as far as, you know, like with American Vampire being like the bar that like I'm used to from this team, I don't think that this book reaches that level. And, you know, that's a little disappointing, but at the same time, it's like American Vampire is American Vampire and Duck and Cover is something different. So
Hmm.
it's not bad. Like, you know, because I don't think it, and that was I think the conversation, the internal dialogue I had with myself where I'm like, you know, reading this and I'm like, if I'm trying to compare it to American Vampire, that may not be a fair comparison, especially considering where it's like, you know, like it's like it's like thinking about what George Lucas did with Star Wars and then thinking about what he did with the prequels, right? You
Hmm.
know, it's like the dude made a different type of movie for a different time in his life, you know? And I feel like this is kind of a little bit of that where it's like, even though obviously with Star Wars, that's a little bit more apples to apples, but
Hmm.
um when we're talking about this, I'm like, I'm talking about a completely different project. And it's
Yeah.
like, why would I expect Raphael Albuquerque and Scott Snyder to make a product similar to what they made when, like, what was that, 10 years ago now? 15 years ago? I don't know. Like, you know what I'm
Uh,
saying?
yeah, 15, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, you know, so I think there was like a part of me that initially reading it, I was like, oh, like this doesn't hit in that way. But
Yeah.
then I kind of like, but is that a fair expectation? Like, why would it? Like, it's not the same property. It's not the same people because those guys were 15, 15 years
Yeah.
removed from who they were then.
Like,
I
no,
will
they
say
both.
that,
I think they're both fathers to teenagers now. So like,
look, that's what I'm
where they were
saying.
like newlyweds then. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
I will say that I feel like Albuquerque's artwork in this book is still good. I don't know that it's quite as good as American Vampire,
Yeah.
but
But how
again,
about like Huck? Like, do you remember Huck?
yeah, 100%. It definitely feels closer to Huck because like there's a character that even has like a
Yeah.
Huck-esque kind of quality in this book, but but I feel like Huck is a better book artistically too. Like, and so that's one thing I can say. Like Albuquerque might be trying to do something a little different art style wise in this book. But he's not. It's not like it's not far enough removed, I think, from what I'm used to seeing from him. That for me, it makes me feel like, oh, like he's trying to evolve his style. It just is a version of his artwork that doesn't hit for me quite as much as some of his past work. Which, that's unfortunate for me to say because I don't, I enjoy looking at his artwork. And if this was somebody that wasn't Raphael Albuquerque, I would be like, I like the art without even questioning it. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't even be like, oh, is it good or not? It's just more so like, okay, like I've seen him do better work in my opinion. So, yeah.
And that's not, it sucks because he's like, fuck, I'm losing out to myself now. Like, and but that's what art is. You push yourself, like we see what happens to the people that don't push themselves. They turn into Jim Lee and run whole businesses.
That might be a bad example.
Yeah, or Liefeld. He's like, I guess Shatterstar gets into a movie and they don't have to do shit. Yeah.
The cautionary tale. Don't end up like Jim Lee.
Yeah. Or Liefeld.
all these comic book artists are like, please let me be Jim Lee. Yeah.
Like,
Oz, are you still there, or did your cameras go out, or are you gone? I was like, huh. I'm gonna go ahead and remove Oz right for the moment.
And,
I think we lost Joe too.
Yeah, because of the hour. We should never told them about the hour 30 thing. Let them think. Let them think it is 2 hours. I think from now on, we're gonna tell them, yeah, we're going back to the tight 2. And then we'll end it at we still got to express ourselves here.
He could have hung out a couple minutes. We were gonna get to the
dude. We're literally. I just had a question from not reading it, but from looking through it, and I really like. You're the dude that is good to ask that question too. But yeah, I do have it on my Kindle now, so
good.
I'll get to read that. I totally ignored Kindle when the whole shit went down. So
yeah,
but my whole library is there. I have Marvel Unlimited now. My whole library for Marvel stuff that I got through Comixology is there too. So
oh man,
yeah,
wow. Look, you're gonna have a field day because there's a lot of stuff there at Marvel Unlimited.
Oh, dude, I'm like 3 issues into Wolverine.
There it is.
It's fucking tight.
It's everything Moses could ever want. Wolverine and Ghost Rider as one person.
Not only that, like, because when you read something like Sabretooth War and you see what happens to Daken, you're like, when's that going to get resolved? Wolverine.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, I'll have to go mess with that.
Yeah. And if you have, if you have, I was really just trying to get the Wolverine merch because they're doing the annual plus, but I guess they didn't give it to me because I did a trial. So I was trying to pay the $100 a year thing to get that, like the action figure and the pops and all that. And I don't know, they don't want to give it to me.
Send them a thing. Maybe they'll make an exception. Send them a message.
Yeah, fuck them. Yeah. They don't want my money. I'll buy it at a convention.
Oz, how did you feel about the art?
It was fine. It was good. I'm not gonna complain about it. I didn't have any issues with any of the art.
Okay.
Which normally I do, because this is Dark Horse. Maybe not.
Yeah.
It feels like an indie comic, but it's not.
Well, it is. It's Comixology originally.
It's Dark Horse, right?
Well, no, they're
doing published by Dark Horse.
They're doing the print version, but it was done on Comixology original. Like, it's basically whatever they want to do they release digitally beforehand.
If it started as an indie, then it's really good because usually indie comics can't afford like better artists.
Yeah.
Well, but but that's the thing. It's an indie book technically, but it's like Scott Snyder and
Yeah.
Raphael
And
Albuquerque,
his
which
friend, yeah.
yeah, like it's like I mean, those are like either one of those names by itself might draw someone to pick up a book. It's like if Jim Lee made a book on Comixology, kinda not quite as big, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, but yeah. What I can tell you all is that like I actually did get to read the second issue of this, and yeah, the story gets wilder, and like you might actually be a bigger fan of the second issue than you would be the first, Oz, but it's the kind of thing where like, and this is like a thing where like I know for me, I was curious enough by how things ended for me to like want to read the second issue, but I can totally see from you know a pacing perspective, and again, like if you go in blind, you might be like, oh, I don't know, like if this is what I was necessarily thinking I was going to be signing up for. So I could see it going either way from like a pacing perspective.
Look, like I said, once the bombs drop, like it starts to pop off.
Yeah.
And because it might, I don't know, maybe it's because the kids are like running from stuff at that point.
Right.
So less talking time and more, we stuff's got to get done.
I will say that, like, if this was a movie and I was going into it blind watching it, at the point where we get to like the bomb dropping and all that going on, I very well might have been like, I kind of wanted to see if this kid was going to become like a young black one-eyed director in 1960s Hollywood. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like there's a part of me that was kind of like, it's not to say that the story that they decided to tell isn't interesting. It's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, if it's fighting like aliens or something, it's like I've seen that story. It's like what I haven't seen.
The guy that started the whole blaxploitation movement.
Right. What I haven't seen is the one-eyed black director in the friggin' civil rights era, like trying to make it in Hollywood. It's like, what? How is he gonna meet that challenge?
They did that. They did that movie too. So like, because from what it looks like, it's like it reminds me of like Super 8 with but also what's the movie? It was Mario Van Peebles' dad, Carlos Van Peebles. Like he was a exploitation director during the civil rights movement and stuff. And so it's kind of like the way you're explaining it. It seems like that you want a mix of those two things here.
Yeah, no, I mean it definitely has like it starts off with a little bit of a Super 8 kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
But that's not where it ends up going. And so that's what I thought. Like I was thinking like, oh, okay. And I was like, wow, like it's gonna be interesting to see Scott Snyder's take on what it's like to become a young black director of films in like the late 1950s. And then it's like, oh no, he's not gonna do that. Okay. He's not doing because I was like, what made Scott Snyder decide to do this? And it was like, oh, okay. I was like, damn, I wish I had known to ask him about this joint. And
cocaine, obviously.
Say what now?
Cocaine, obviously.
Cocaine.
Spent 2 pages on explaining shrapnel to me.
And he did take very various trips to the bathroom where there was a Fantastic Four F on a flat surface.
Allegedly. On all that.
We chopped it up.
Allegedly.
We
all right. The fat. Oh Lord. Okay. All right. Let's rate this book and then we'll get out of here. Oz, what would you rate Duck and Cover number 1?
I guess I'm probably gonna go with a 4. I if you buy this, you're gonna get your money's worth in words because there's a lot, especially I only read the first issue, and that I don't like it, but a lot of people do, and it's not badly written. It's just a lot. But like I said, once the bombs fall, and it's probably a little bit past the halfway point. I'd probably exaggerate a little bit, but once the bombs fall, like the story really picks up from there and just becomes like a sci-fi, a decent sci-fi story that made me want to read the second one just to see if they answer some questions that I had from the first issue. So yeah, anybody that picks it up, you're getting your money's worth, at least in the first issue. There's only 4. So you get talented writer, talented artist, pick it up. 4 is fine.
There it is. For myself, I honestly I think I have to give it like a 3.5. Even though I liked it personally, I just feel like, from an issue number 1 perspective, I'm not certain.
It's too woke for you. I get it. It's too
Oh
woke.
yeah,
All those
everybody,
issues with racism and okay, I get it. No, I got you. Too woke.
everybody knows me. I'm like,
There
then
would have been a woman in there too.
all these strong women and DEI hires. No, it's like, no, man. I'm only like, I just feel like from a number 1 perspective, maybe it could have done something. It could have been paced maybe a little bit better. And like I said, while I like it, I think just from the perspective of actually giving it a rating, I feel like 3.5 is probably where it belongs, even though it's like I did find the story compelling, and like I said, enough so that I was like, I wanted to make sure I checked out the second issue. So yeah, so I think take that for what you will. Moses Magnum, what are you rating the rating?
I rated at a 5, even though I didn't get to get Joe's rating, but his explanation of it compared to you guys' take on it, like, it's definitely something I want to read, and I can tell from just looking through the pages here and the way you guys explained it, what you didn't like and liked about it. Like, I got something to do on my flight now.
There it is. There it is. So
Animorphs and Duck and Cover.
That'll be your whole
there
flight.
it is.
16 hours.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. Okay. Shoot, let's get out of here. It's that time. Let's do some
Let me do
some closing
thoughts music.
Yeah.
Come here.
It's all right. You got it. Take your time. Take your time.
No, I can't take my time.
Yeah.
No. It needs to be fast. Hard and fast. Hard and fast. Like Sleepy Joe Biden.
What? Is that how that works?
There you go.
All right. I'll score. Here's the final thoughts.
More videos coming soon, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. There it is. Moses Magnum, final thoughts.
Fantastic Forum is going global. If you follow us on Instagram and TikTok, or maybe even here on YouTube, you're gonna see hijinks from another time zone. Hopefully. But you gotta follow us to do that. So go do that.
Go do that.
And then I'll
Sounds
see you next
good.
week. Yeah.
Indeed. For the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. As always, we appreciate you. All those that stuck around. If there's something you would like to see, something that you want us to talk about, please just hit us up on socials or hit us up in chat or whatnot. Like, we will talk back. But yeah, until then, we're the Fantastic Forum. Good night.